So before we move ahead, it is important for you to understand the different terms involved in cybersecurity. So the first is information security. We have already discussed this term, but let's have a quick recap. Information security covers the broader aspect of all the assets, whether it is a hardware or a software or human resources or assets. It covers everything what needs to be protected. The next is risk management. Risk management is a procedure which is used to identify risks and threats in the organization which can disrupt the normal processing of the organization. And then various risk treatment procedures are applied to mitigate the risk. That comes under the process of risk management. Confidentiality. Confidentiality is a measure which is used to prevent the data from having access to unauthorized persons. So confidential means something that only restricted people can access or see. Integrity is something that the data should not be altered when it is being sent from one sender to the receiver. So integrity checks if the data that is being sent and the data that is being received is same or not. Availability makes sure that the data or information or assets or anything and which comes under information and asset is available to the required people when and wherever it is necessary. Threat. Threat is something which can harm the reputation of organization, or it can disrupt the normal processing of the organizational services. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is a weakness in the organization or a weakness or a flaw in the system through which the attackers can gain the access to the internal systems, and then they can cause the different attacks. For example, let's say you have a house, you have a bungalow, you have two gates. The first is the front gate and another is a back gate. Front gate has a security guard installed, but the back gate does not have a security guard, neither a security camera. So the back gate is a vulnerability for your house because the thief can come into your house not through the front gate, but he can definitely come through the back gate. Attack is an incident which happens in the organization in order to cause harm to the reputation or which causes a negative impact on the organization. Firewalls. Firewalls are programs specifically designed which are installed on softwares as well as hardwares to assess the incoming packets through the internet and allow or restrict the packets entering into the network. Cryptography is the process through which the CIA triad of information security is maintained. So cryptography is used to see whether the system is following confidentiality, whether the data is not altered, whether it follows integrity, and the data is available when and where it is needed. Encryption and decryption is the process through which confidentiality, integrity, and availability is achieved. We are going to see encryption and decryption in upcoming sections as well. Hashing is the process of converting input thing. It can be a text, it can be a document, it can be an image into a specified output of a fixed length. So, it is a string of random alphabets used to check the integrity of the original input. Virtual private network is a kind of network where people use it to access to the informational assets when they are working remotely, or anyone who wants to access the organization's resources but are not in the organizations use this virtual private network, which is a secured network which uses secured protocols as if the people are in the organization itself. Ransomware is a kind of malware. When attacked, the hackers ask for a specific ransom, a specific amount of money in order to delete the virus or in order to give the system back to its owner. Hacker, as we are going to see in detail in the next section, hacker is any person who has exceptional computer skills and knowledge of networking and then operating systems and programming language, who can then use those skills to break into the system. So not necessarily hacker is a bad guy. There are three different types of hackers: white hat hacker, which is a good guy who works for the organization; a black hat hacker, which is a very bad guy; and a gray hat hacker who works according to his own thinking. Phishing. Phishing is an attack, a social engineering attack done on people who have no knowledge of security. It is the process in which attacker gains the credentials from the users by talking. It's kind of a sweet talking. Attackers or hackers talk in such a way that people automatically reveal their information to the attackers. Cloud computing, or it's not cloud actually, it's cloud security or cloud computing. Okay, cloud has nowadays become very popular. It's a kind of a storage data where many people have started migrating to cloud technologies because it provides a much more broader aspect of processing the information, and again a major advantage of security and space of storage. Access control. Access control is a mechanism through which access is restricted to users. It is a process through which organizations assign different roles, different accesses to their employees. Identity management, as we discussed in the career part, identity management deals with the identities of user, identities of their employees, and how the identities can be protected from the malicious attacks, and who has the proper access according to the identity. Again, certifications are very important when it comes to cybersecurity. People have more certifications than they have their basic degrees. So certifications do play an important role. There are many certifications like Certified Ethical Hacker, then Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISSP, Security Plus, and it's like leveraging you have a leverage when it comes to certifications. You have knowledge as compared to other individuals. Authentication is a process by which we check whether the person who is trying to access the system is really the person who he or she is claiming to be. So let's say if you are XYZ and if you are accessing a particular resource, so you have to prove that you are XYZ. So there are different authentication factors like login IDs, passwords, or there are like fingerprints, biometric modules. So this is the process of authentication, is the process of basically proving your identity. Antivirus is a software which is used to counter the various malwares that enter into your system. So antivirus is a software. It is only installed. It is only a software. It cannot be installed on routers. It just meant for laptops and desktops. So antivirus is used to tackle the adwares, spywares, malwares, trojans, and everything. Great job. Now that you have understood the basic terminologies, in the next lecture, we will talk about the vulnerability assessment procedure that many penetration testers follow. So if you are really interested in getting known to the ethical hacking part, you should not skip this lecture. I will see you in the next lecture.